Hi, my name's Matt Locke, and this is the Everyday Athlete Podcast, the podcast for the everyday athletes around the world who refuse to be average and who want to create a legacy of health, fitness, and achievement in every aspect of their life. I'm glad you're here, and once again, it's time to forge your future. Melissa Wu, welcome to the Everyday Athletes Podcast. It is a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks.
And for those who are, for those who are not familiar with who you are, if you could just tell us a bit about yourself, and then I've got a few statistics in the background that I've been gathering about you online. So let's see which bits you skim over, and I'll come back to you. But maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, sure. My name's Melissa Wu. I'm a 3-time Olympian in diving. I've been diving for it's probably about like 18 years now. So a long time, too long to count. From a very young age, I've been diving since I was about 10. I competed in my first international competition when I was 13 years old. So that was Commonwealth Games in Melbourne in 2006. And then I went to my first Olympics when I was 16. And that was the Beijing 2008 Olympic Games. So that kind of started my career. And then, since then I've pretty much been, diving internationally. Since then, I've only had maybe, a year or two off due to injury, but still going strong and currently training for Tokyo 2020 in 2021. So a little bit delayed with that, but it's all on track. So looking forward to giving that my all.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, firstly, congratulations for whenever Tokyo is going to happen. But congratulations for your whole career so far. I mean, absolutely phenomenal, isn't it? And actually, before we dive into that, I forgot I should check myself. Happy birthday for last Sunday.
Oh, thank you. I stopped counting about 10 years ago now.
Oh, come on now. Well, if my homework serves me correctly, you've just turned 28. Is that right?
Yeah, 28.
That would explain the 18 years already. Only 28 years old. 8 years of, let's say, professional diving career behind you. But no, absolutely phenomenal. And am I right in believing that you are still the youngest Australian ever to win an Olympic medal at diving? Is that still the case?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, pretty sure.
And I've only got one more. By age 16, you had medalled in every major international competition.
Yeah, I had. Yeah, so wow.
Incredible. It's quite the journey, huh?
Yeah, it is. It seems so long ago now. All that, from like starting at that young age. It's people always ask me about it, but I have to think really hard back to then because it's just a long time and a lot happens still going, still hanging in there.
Oh, apparently so, absolutely, but very much so, in fact. And so, I mean, how did you get into diving at 10? What piques the interest at the age of 10 versus all the other sports that you had available, and your whole family? I think your brothers, sisters, also big sporting background.
I came from a pretty sporty family in that we did a lot of sport when we were younger. We got involved in all the kind of school sports, and my older sister in particular was really good pretty much at everything. I wasn't so much good at everything, but she kind of led the way and kind of got us all into sport, and she was particularly really good at swimming. So she was quite competitive when she was younger. So she used to race a lot at Sydney Olympic Park. And I hated swimming when I was younger. I preferred flipping around the house. I really liked gymnastics, but because I come from a family of 5, it was difficult to put the kind of hours in. Well, they always want the kids to do, a ridiculous amount of hours when they're younger, which was, just something that we couldn't really commit to. So I still did gym, but wasn't like super serious about it. But I loved doing all that stuff around the house and everything. So when I used to watch my sister race at Olympic Park, that's where I first saw diving. And for the moment I saw it, I knew it was going to be super fun. And that's pretty much, as soon as I saw it, I fell in love with it and just begged my parents to let me start. And eventually kind of just started from there in a club.
Awesome. Well, thankfully you managed to con them into letting you do it.
I did, it took some bit of persuasion, but we got there.
I guess no one wants to see their little girl get hurt, do they? So.
Well, they were actually worried that we didn't know anything about diving, so they thought I wouldn't stay fit just going and jumping like off a board. But we had no idea about all the behind the scenes kind of training and how strong you have to be to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading a little bit about your training regime. I mean, maybe we just talk about that for a little bit now as well. I mean, yes, it's not just diving off a platform, is it? And certainly when I was chatting with Nerida, my wife, earlier, who you're in contact with, and I said, I wonder which came first, the gymnastics or the sort of the diving element, you know, the water element, because it's a blend of the two, right?
Yeah, it's more gymnastics, definitely. So most of our, obviously most of our training is in the pool doing our diving, but then the kind of other half, well, the sessions that aren't gym sessions are actually what we call dry land. So it's basically very similar to gymnastics style training. So it's on trampolines, crash mats, doing somersaults, going into, you know, those big foam pits and all the fun stuff. So yeah, it's very similar to those kind of acrobatic sports. And usually when we try and bring like new kids into institute programs, we steal them from all those kind of sports: trampolining, gymnastics, tumbling, all those kind of things.
Awesome. I haven't had a go in one of the big foam pits yet. I have to say, it looked like a lot of fun.
Oh, you have to do it. Definitely.
I'm not sure whether there is one close to it. I imagine you can just give yourself to it, knowing you're not going to get hurt.
Yeah, as long as you don't get head first. So you can't take it too literally. You can't dive into it. That's dangerous.
Good point. Well made. Thank you for that. So, I mean, so when you went to Beijing, I think we were chatting just before we went on camera, you were 16, correct?
Yeah, 16 in Beijing.
So you were juggling school, I think homeschooling, I'd imagine, and a massive training in Beijing, right?
Yeah, so training was it was pretty full on from a young age. So from about the age of 12, I got into kind of like a junior AIS program in Brisbane, and that's where the AIS was based in diving before, not out of Canberra. So yeah, I literally went into a squad and got to train with like the previous Olympians who had like literally just come back from Athens and won a bunch of medals. So that was a really amazing opportunity for me. And yeah, from that kind of moment, my training really ramped up, and it's been the same since then, which is basically 10 sessions a week. So it's twice a day, most days, like morning and afternoon. So yeah, from a young age, I've been pretty used to that hectic training schedule. And when I was at school, that meant, doing it before and after school. So it was each day was pretty long for me. So yeah, it was kind of hard to juggle both. But I think I actually struggled more when I started traveling, because at least when I was training, it would be like kind of before and after school, and I'd still have that time at school and still time for homework and assignments on the weekend. But when I traveled, pretty much the whole kind of week or 2 weeks or however long it was dedicated to diving, and you're at the pool most of the day with minimal time to get studying. So yeah, for me that was a bit more of a challenge.
Yeah, I guess. And also obviously there's the nutrition side, the recovery side, and I mean, they're formative years. You've got to have time to be a kid as well at that in those years, I guess. But pretty awesome. I mean, incredible level of discipline and mental fortitude, and an amazing family around you, I guess, and coaches and a whole team of people supporting you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've had a lot of family support from a really young age. We're a really kind of tight-knit family, and as I said, family of 5 kids. So we've also always had that support and come from a sporty family. So that's been really, really helpful all the way through. And good coaches as well. Had a really good coach when I was younger that kind of took me through, as just a junior diver into like an international career. And then that was in Brisbane. And then when I moved to Sydney, I've been diving with my coach now for, it's probably been about 10 years. So he's awesome. He's like kind of like a dad, and then also like a mentor and everything. And he's not just a coach, but he's been a really big support for me, like in and out of diving.
Isn't it amazing how we can find those people in our lives? And they're really a part of our life.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, that is amazing. Absolutely. So in 2007 in Melbourne, you got yourself a silver in the World Championships, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was synchronized or solo?
Yeah, that was synchro. So I did a lot of synchro in my first kind of years on the international diving scene, and then probably less. I've still sort of been doing it, but been focusing a bit more on individual in the sort of back end of my career.
Sure. So that was your first medal, and then it was the Olympics the following year, correct? Oh, I think we froze there. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. All good. Yeah, I heard it. All good. So basically I did that World Champs in 2007, which was the year second year on the international kind of diving circuit, and we also had a lot of other international comps that year. So a lot changed from when I was at my first Commonwealth Games to my first Olympics, because my first Commonwealth Games, I was brand new to it, no pressure, very naive. But even though I was young going into my first Olympics, because I'd had those 2 years of international competition under my belt already, I actually went in with, a fair bit of pressure into my first Olympics, because we were real kind of medal chance there.
Yeah, sure. Like being that young wasn't enough already.
I think it's actually easier. Looking back, I think it's easier when you're younger.
Yeah, okay, that somehow makes sense. So talk us through it. I mean, 16 years old, part of the Olympic team representing Australia. What was it? I mean, big picture, how was the overall experience?
Yeah, the overall experience was, there's a whole lot that, goes into it and everything. So overall, it was a really good experience for me. I was able to come away with a silver medal. It was in Beijing, which was really special to me because of my kind of Chinese background, and I had family there to watch me. So yeah, it was awesome. And yeah, it's kind of what you dream of, and everything you've been working towards. And I just remember I would obsess about it, beforehand. Like I had, stickers and all the merch, but not because I thought I was going to be there, but yeah, I wanted it so bad. And I remember just everything revolved around it. And it didn't really disappoint. Like it was amazing. And you know how the Chinese are, they do everything top notch as well.
Sure.
So yeah, all the food, everything. I had this massive games room. I used to go there almost every day, and there's games where you shoot the basketballs into the hoops and all that stuff. Yeah, I loved all that. And yeah, there's always kind of something happening. It was really cool. And yeah, being so young, that was awesome. But yeah, it was also, that little bit of pressure going in as well. So it was kind of a relief when I did well, if anything, so I was happy. But I think going up in a high performance program and having that pressure constantly to do well, for me, I was just relieved more than anything that, I'd gone and hit the expectation that was expected of me. And but overall, amazing experience. And I don't think you can, the first one's always the most special as well. That's the one, you were an Olympian and then you became an Olympian. So not that the others after that don't mean they still mean a lot, but yeah, I think that the first one always holds a really special place in your heart.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah, absolutely. It's I guess while you're there, every aspect of it is the first time.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Therefore, massive impact. And you're probably like a sponge, just absorbing it all.
Exactly. Yeah, you just soak it all up. Yeah.
Yeah. Second time around, you somehow have some idea of what to expect at least.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
But so going into your first Olympics, at the tender age of 16, I mean, obviously there was a huge amount of support, coaching support around the physical aspects of it and so on. How much support did they give you on the mental aspects of it in terms of support and sort of keeping you grounded and not letting the pressure gets to you or any other athlete, obviously not just you? What kind of support was in place for that?
Unfortunately, not a lot. Like I said, we had the AIS program in Brisbane at that time, which has since what's the word? Basically, it's just dissipated, and everyone's moved now into their state institutes. So that one program in Australia doesn't exist anymore. And it was, basically that happened because it wasn't the best thing for the athletes. And there was a lot of people that struggled mentally in that kind of situation. And they were very strict, like I said, from a young age, that pressure, most of the pressure I felt was actually not just that I had to go and win a medal at the Olympics or at competitions. It was to keep my place in that squad, because they were quite cutthroat about it. And when I first went into that junior program, I went in with 3 or 4 other athletes, and within a year I was the only one left of that, those kids that they took in. And there were a lot of senior athletes. Even my first Commonwealth Games that I went to, it was amazing. But when I made the team, that meant that one of my best friends in there got the boot, because she didn't make the cut. So it's really hard because you have these friendships and you all want to do well, but you're all kind of against each other as well. So it wasn't a great place to be in mentally. So I did have a good coach. So that coach, when I was young that kind of, took me to the international level. He was, awesome. I had a really good rapport with him. So for me, that was like everything, because he was the one I wanted to impress and do well for. But so I think that most of the mental support I received was, kind of from him. And I knew he was always looking out for me and had my best interests at heart. But generally there wasn't a lot of, support there. So it was good in that it made me grow up pretty fast, and I was around a lot of older athletes. So I just had to kind of learn that and learn to deal with pressure as I went. But it is something I did struggle a lot. I think after the Olympics, I had to move up to the senior squad, which they should have done, when I was starting to compete a few years before, but they let me stay with that coach for 2 more years, which was good. But once I moved up, I really struggled a lot, and I wanted to quit diving actually. So that's kind of what ended up forcing me to come to, not forcing me, but why I made the decision to come to Sydney. Because for me, it was literally like I quit or I moved. Something drastic had to happen, because I think it's hard when you get older and that, that teenage kind of age. And
sure. And so you were in Brisbane.
I was in Brisbane,
You moved to Sydney.
And then I've been here ever since.
It's home now, in fact.
Sorry?
It's home now. It's where you live now, yeah? You
I actually grew up here, so it was kind of like coming back, I guess. So that's why I chose to come here, because it was like I was coming home. So my dad still lived here, my grandparents. So and I had a good rapport with the coach that I train with now. So it was a really good move for me. One of the best things that I ever did.
No, well done for making that. So 12 years on from your first Olympic debut. Mm-hmm. That's a stupid English. Your Olympic debut. Hey, come on. I mean, what drives you now compared to what drove you then? I mean, you obviously have a hugely competitive streak in you have to have to perform at the level you have and do. But I just wonder, as you've evolved, and I'm not calling you old, but you're 12 years older than you were when you went to your first Olympics. How do you think that's changed? What keeps you going?
I think I'm pretty lucky in that I've always been pretty self-motivated. So for those early years, it was all about just getting to the Olympics and making it. And then once I made it, it was like about getting the medal and that kind of thing. But I guess, if I did well, I wanted to keep going, and then I've kept going since then. And basically since then, it's just been all about getting the best out of myself. And as I said before, I had a lot of success at a young age in synchro. And I did compete both. I competed synchro and individual, and I quite often choked a lot in individual. Not having someone there with me, I didn't do as well under pressure, and and I really struggled kind of to overcome that. So over the years, it's just been this kind of inner drive to not only produce the performance I know I'm capable of, but I guess to kind of do it for myself. And like I said, I did struggle a lot mentally, which resulted in me moving to Sydney. And even though I moved and was a lot happier, I still struggled a lot mentally, and didn't feel good about myself, and which obviously is going to have an impact on performance if if your mental kind of mindset's not there. So so then for me, it's been about kind of overcoming that, not just so I can dive better, but also just to benefit me as a person, and basically achieve everything that I can do. So I've kind of still been chasing that. I've made a lot of improvement, and it's made me really appreciate how hard you have to work for mindset, and the hard work that I have done has helped me in all aspects of my life. But still chasing the perfect performance and producing something I'm really happy with. You got to be a real perfectionist in diving, so that kind of drives me to keep going as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge kudos to you, I have to say, for that level of self-reflection, and I guess adapting over the years and becoming more reflective. And it's not so much about the accolades and the medals so much as it is about you as a person growing and just striving to be better, if that's the right word. Or whatever the word for now. That's awesome. So that's where we are today. So I guess along the way you have started some businesses, correct?
I
guess alongside the huge sponsorship deals that all Olympians get. And I say that with my exactly. I was talking with a mutual friend, Melissa Paige Wu, formerly Felicity Galvez. She laughed as well when I said that. She said, "I'm not even thought."
I don't even think they exist anymore, any of those, huge sponsorship deals.
Sure.
No, what even is that?
It's a tough gig, isn't it? It's a tough gig. all the
Yeah.
work and energy and effort and everything that goes into it. But at the end of the day, there are bills to pay and so on. It's just real life. Eh?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, certainly you've formed a couple of companies, I believe, hrdKAW Strength, for example, and Havoc Athletic.
Mhm.
Talk to us a little bit about maybe Havoc Athletic. I think we'll touch on hrdKAW Strength in the next episode that we're
Okay.
going to record, but maybe Havoc Athletic. What's that all about?
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, as we've talked about, I'm not young anymore. So yeah,
You are young.
definitely. I don't know
I'm
how
nearly
much
20 years your senior.
I feel, you know, every time I wake up in the morning, I feel like I could probably be another 20 years older than what I am. But yeah, who knows how long, you know, I have left in the sport. I'm going to give it my all, you know, over for the next, well, I've got another year now for Tokyo, which
That's
I
right.
didn't.
Extended your career.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, going into this year, I didn't expect to have that. So yeah, for me, realistically, you know, I wanted to kind of start setting things up for after sport. And even though it's already always been really important to me to have something other than diving, I just never really enjoyed anything or, you know, found I was really doing what I loved. So yeah, I've been at uni for about 40 years now and haven't finished a degree. I've just moved between them. But yeah, so that's a whole, I'll talk you through hardcore, you know, later on. But yeah, basically Havoc, I've always been interested in, you know, fashion, and because I train so much, I pretty much live in activewear. So
Sure.
yeah, just couldn't
It's the
find.
right way. It's the best way.
Exactly. So yeah, and yeah, as an athlete doing, you know, fairly rigorous sort of training, I, you know, couldn't find, you know, some of the clothes that I'd like to train that were comfy to train in. And yeah, I decided to kind of create my own. So especially here in Australia, there's, you know, there's a few, you know, other brands in, you know, the US and other places. But yeah, I just wanted to make something that was going to be a bit more accessible to people here. Yeah, so basically that's how I just kind of started Havoc. It's something that I was kind of thinking about and looking into for a few years, but just kind of put it off and put it off. And then I actually had oh God, I've got a bad memory. I think it must have been, yeah, I had some
You
injuries.
can make it up. No one will know.
Yeah,
It's your story.
yeah. So basically, yeah, when I've had a bit of time off for injuries the last few years. So every time I end up with, you know, that extra time on my hands, I'm not training as much. I always kind of kept coming back to it. So I think I just got to the point where I was like, stuff it. I'm just gonna have a crack and just do it. And I don't want to keep thinking about the next time I get injured and be like, oh, I should have done it. So
Cool.
yeah, basically just, yeah, took the leap and started it. And yeah, it's pretty new. And I've had to put the latest collection on hold because of Corona. So yeah, looking forward to bringing out something new maybe when we come out of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder if maybe it's the creative aspect of it. It seems that's appealing to you there. I mean, yes, of course, there's a commercial reality to it, but actually, it seems like it's the creative aspect that you enjoy.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've always enjoyed, yeah. I don't know if I'm super creative. I like to try to be creative maybe, and yeah, something about it just keeps you know, nagging at my brain. So yeah, I definitely am drawn to it, and I love doing it. And it is really different, you know. Everything in training and diving is very, you know, regimented, and yeah, there's like a certain way it has to be done. But yeah, this is kind of my own thing, can be done however I like. And yeah, I guess too, something that I really loved about this is just kind of bringing people together from different sports. So, you know, I have a few ambassadors for Havoc, and yeah, basically I've tried to create, yeah, I've got ambassadors from across, you know, different sports, and I'm trying to create basically a community where, yeah, people kind of support each other, and we're all kind of united together in strength, which can be physical, but also, you know, that mental kind of strength as well, which is really important at the moment.
No, well, I think the strapline is united by strength. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
United by strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, which is a wonderful message. Melissa, I'm conscious of your time, and yeah, very appreciative for your time and chatting us through and sharing with us your experience. If people want to get in touch with you or reach out to you, or they want to find out more about Havoc, how would they do that?
Yeah, sure. So Instagram is probably your go-to. My Instagram name is at Melissa Paige Wu. So you can, yeah, DM me on there, or my email address is in my bio as well. And then Havoc, you can go to at Havoc Athletic. So it's HAVOK with that K in there. So yeah, you can find us on there. Yeah, or head to our website for Havoc as well, which is just havocathletic.com.au.
Sure, and I'll put all of that in the show notes, of course, so that people can just click on it and go and find you. But thank you ever so much for your time today. Thanks for sharing. I mean, massive congratulations for everything so far and for Tokyo to come. And yeah, we're going to have another chat and look forward to doing so.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, there you have it. Thanks very much for listening. And if you've enjoyed this, please go ahead, hit the subscribe button down below and the little bell icon so you get notified every time we upload a new episode. And if you think that one of your training buddies would also enjoy this, go ahead and share it with them right now. With that said, thank you once again. And as always, be brave, have fun, and lead by example.